Alrighty, so I found a CR10 copycat called the KR10S on Amazon. It's cheaper and a lot more options, so I figured I'd do a little quick unboxing here. So let's see what we got. Okay, seems to be packaged pretty well. And got a part list, assembly, and let's see if we can get that in the screen here. Kreatit. I guess these guys are new on the scene. This is the Thor Pro KR10S. Like, I didn't copy that from somebody. Okay. It does come with a glass plate. Looks like it's got knockoff Anycubic Ultra Base on one side. Unfortunately, it was packed with the Ultra Base side down, and the screws are a little bit up, so it scraped off a bunch of pieces from that. So the back side of it looks good. We'll see if it's flat later. All right. Now this is interesting here. So they send glue stick, little changeable screwdriver. Not gonna bother getting it out there. Some spare parts. It looks like this is an end stop and a couple end stops and some really tiny zip ties. Okay, cool. Wow. Wrenches and really long hex wrenches here, but they're the cool ones with little balls at the end, so you can get in there with them. Awesome. All right. I have no idea what this is. It's a double-threaded rod, one on each side. Interesting. So the cool part about, and some cutters here, and these are not little cheapy guys. These are legit tools. Wow. Okay. Now, keeping in mind this was a couple $100 less than the CR10, and it was Amazon Prime, got it next day shipping for under $322. So we'll see what it is. Okay, we got a 4 gigabit SanDisk. It's a legit one, and it's a big one. This is not a micro SD, so this will be interesting to see what kind of board we have in here. All right, so we've got some extra wheels for the X and the Y. That's kind of cool. Kreatit could take some notes from this. It looks like some M4 T-nuts and some M3 nuts. Got a T-brace with the M4 nuts already, the M4 T-nuts already put in and ready for you. That's kind of cool. Let's see, a standard set of Allen keys, and this is like a whole set. Wow, it's not just one or two. Cool. To go along with the big long ones we got. All right, that's some random M3 screws and washers. Looks like clips for the beds. These are some M5 screws and more M3 screws. Let's see. So this is a little card. Kreatit. From what I was reading on the back of the instruction sheet, this is their leveling card. Cool. All right. Uh-oh. I only see 3 clips. Bum, bum, bum. All right. Now, how do I get this out of here? All right. This. Oh, comes with red. Interesting. This is really well packed. Way better than the CR10 came. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Pull this out. So it already comes pre-assembled, and it does look like it is the 2040 extrusion, I think. It's exactly the same as a CR10. The heat bed is different, and it has been pre-assembled before. I can see where they had put it together, so that's kind of cool. There is zero. Oh, nope, there's a little wobble in the bed. Just a little bit. And I got 3 eccentric nuts on the back, so we can tighten that up. see if I can show you that there. And they come with big knobs, big-ish knobs, I suppose. That's kind of cool. Little rubber feet. The Y-axis, the belt is a little loose, and it looks like the connection to the heat bed is similar to a A-net connection. I don't know if you can see it right there. This guy right here. So those cause issues, but there is a pretty large community around them to fix that on the A-net boards, which is cool. This is not an A-net, by the way. Weird as that is. And it looks like everything's got these little quick connectors for stuff. So, okay. Here's our base. Let's see what else we got in here. Alrighty then. Okay. Looks like the X. And it is dual lead screw. That's kind of cool. Right on. I like that. And there's a control box in the middle. And it looks like everything has quick connectors and is labeled. Power on. Oh, and that is a big SD card. I am really curious to know what board they have in here now. That is hefty. Wow. That's a big control box. I don't know if you can see that. There, this is much bigger and wider than the CR10. Can't quite tell what's in there yet, but we will pop this open shortly. And this is set to 115 volts. Good. Good, good, good. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I can't tell from here if it's got a MOSFET or not. I'm going to have to pop that open and see. But right on. Okay. Now, spool of filament. That's actually more than I expected. Kind of cool. Looks like we got a little... oh, that's what the threaded rod's for. It's for the spool holder. A little clear acrylic spool holder here. Just got to put together. Okay, so let's get this guy out of here. How do I get this out? Ooh, oh, that piece comes off. Cool. This is packed really, really well. Wow. Okay. I don't even know how to get this guy out of here. Yeah. Okay, well, looks like something's free floating in there. I don't want to bend anything. How is this put in here? Interesting. Let's just take the whole piece out. Okay. So, let's see. It's a direct drive extruder. So no bowdens, right? And it looks like all of this is plastic, no biggie, and very, very loose. So that will need to be taken care of. Okay. And I did notice this thing has at least 3 different versions of it. Yeah, this whole thing is loose. It all needs to be tightened up. Okay. Good to know. And there's some random floating screws that I think go to the hot end. And, well, it looks like the heater cartridge is tightened in there pretty good. But the heat block, definitely not so much. I don't even know what to make of this. I don't even know what this is. Interesting. Well, I'm going to have to take most of this apart just to figure it out, because it is very loose. goldenmotor.com. Interesting. Okay. So it looks like there's going to be a little bit of work with the extruder. No big deal. Okay, so this does actually go this way. Oh, it's got a laser. Sweet. It has laser. Laser beams. Okay. Alright. Okay. Oh, alright. So that is super loose. Not a big deal. Fix that. Alright. Come on, get out of there. There are some random screws floating around in here. I don't know what those go to, but cool. I think these are all the hot end screws I was looking for earlier. Yeah. So, connect this bad boy up. So yeah, all of this is super loose, but it's built almost exactly like a CR10. No big deals there. Okay. Interesting. Let's check those guys. Alright. So, interesting little thing here. Packed in between the lead screws is foam to make sure that they don't get busted, I guess. That's cool. Alright. So, it does have a laser on it, although it is super janky. Again, all of this stuff is loose, so I'll have to go in and tighten it. Looks like your cooling fan, your part cooling fan, it's 24 volt. Ooh, awesome. Okay. We got 24 volt. What? I don't know what the whole laser thing is here, but it's got quick connectors all over the place, so I guess you just decide which one to go in. It'll be interesting to see what their firmware is like. Okay, so let's see, eccentric nut here. Yes, so it's just like the CR10 to tighten it up. And it's an odd little guy here for the extruder. This ought to be interesting to see how a direct drive extruder works with one of these bad boys. Cool. Although there does seem to be some weirdness going on with the hot end here. And I'm not entirely sure what's going on with it. Huh. Definitely not supposed to be flopping around like that, though. Maybe that has something to do with the fan not being tightened up all the way. Not entirely sure, but yeah. Cool. Well, I'm going to get this assembled and tightened up, and then I'll pop back on here in a second and see what we got going on. Alrighty, so I popped up on the control board because I was curious about this guy here. And we have a 24 volt, 14.6 amp power supply. It's relatively slim, but it's got internal fans all over the place. It does not have a MOSFET for the heat bed. I'm not entirely sure what kind of board this is, MPK V1. I do see that the stepper drivers do not have heat sinks, which is a little odd to me, but we'll see if that causes any issues. Let's see, E1, E2. So I think this is set up for either dual extrusion. Like I said, the other models of this have tool heads, interchangeable tool heads, and they sell the tool heads for them separately, like half the cost of the printer. But this one, it looks like you can just switch in between the laser here and the extruder, and that's kind of cool. I'm guessing their dual extruder pops right in, and you just plug in the quick connector for the laser and for the single extruder into the ports for it. This is very modular, actually. I'm quite surprised. The lack of a MOSFET for the heat bed is a little annoying. I'll have to fix that. I'll take a look at it. It should be interesting to see how fast it heats up, being 24 volts though. That's really cool. There's also a lot of room for expansion in here on this board. Again, I'm not familiar with this board. I've never seen it before. It looks similar to an A-net board, to be honest. But I don't have any A-nets. So Tronix Ys I've got, but no A-nets. The X3S I have works off of looks like a home-brewed version of a ramps board. It's all in one place, but yeah, this is kind of cool. I see at least one additional TBTO. Some of these are fans, right? Yeah, they've got to be fans. Fans, and I see 1, 2, 3, 4 open ports for end stops. So I'm guessing you could do all types of stuff with this if you wanted to. I'm not even entirely sure what could be done with this thing, but it is interesting little board. What kind of chip do they got on here? Oh, that's a chunk of solder where it shouldn't be. That's not good. Oh, that's a sharp little chunk of solder. Wonder where that came from. I cannot make it out. Yeah, I can't quite make out what the chip is on this thing. I have to get in real close, but so it is a Atmega 2560 is what's powering this guy. So I'm going to put this back together and continue with assembly. Alrighty, so I've got a little bit of wobble in the bed here, so I'm going to and these are actual wrenches. They're not those little pressed steel chopped out bits. These are chrome vanadium 10 millimeter, 8 millimeter, and there's 7 and a 5.5. That is really cool. Mad props for that. Now, if they're the right sizes, that would be the key. And I think they're supposed to be. Can't quite get them in there. Uh-oh. Yeah. Okay, well, that's a bit of a detractor since the parts don't actually fit the fit the nuts. So let me see what we got here. That is actually a huge letdown. Because yeah, it looks like these are 11 millimeters and not 10. So thank you for the tools, Kreatit. Much appreciated, but they don't work. Okay, let's see. Alright, just a little bit of a turn on that. Ooh, that one was super loose. Okay. Okay, the wobble is gone. You might want to loosen that up just a tad. Too much. Okay. Just lightly loosen these up. Just a little bit. Okay. really tight, actually. Down here. So tighten this to max. I don't know if you kind of see what I'm doing here. I'm just tightening the heat bed down all the way. This one is super, super tight for whatever reason. No, it's not super tight. Want just a tiny little bit of resistance on there so it freely spins but isn't loose enough to let this move. Really tight. There we go. Alright. So, just like a CR10 setup, I gotta get all that stuff going in there. Ouch. Cool. And now, they don't use acrylic for their Y carriage. That's kind of nice. Okay, now, the big elephant in the room right now that I don't know what to do about is this, move that a bit so you can see what we've got going on here, is the hot end bit. So lower this. Alright. Get this in a better spot. Alright. Okay, so our hot end here is all loosey-goosey all over the place, so I need to get in here and figure out what's going on with all of this fun stuff. Those are the wrong sides of this. Alright. Come here, you. This straighten out. So I'm just going to disassemble this hot end here real quick. Okay, maybe it just needed tightened up. But this is really weird. This is very weird. I've never seen a heater block like this. The nozzle for it is actually recessed into the heater block instead of resting on the outside of it. Looking at this thing, I think we might be looking at an all-metal hot end too. And that opens up a whole lot of doors. Oh, hey, there's actually washers in there. Cool. So a little bit of grease on there from the extruder drive. Okay, so this is plastic, well-greased plastic. And wow, looking at this thing, I think you can get away with, nope, not quite getting away with flexibles on this one, but just because of the way it's sitting. That is really interesting. Okay. All right, let's take a look at this here hot end. There's gunk on it. And yes, this is a all-metal hot end. Nice. This is nice. I don't think I have replacement parts for something like this, so I'm going to have to look into what exactly this is. I'm going to loosen up some of these grub screws here. And actually, this thing is set up, this heater block is set up for dual extrusion. Ooh. It just doesn't have the parts on it. Oh, thermistor just popped out. That could be a problem. So take a look at that if you pick one of these up. So we have a all metal hot end with a heater block that can easily take dual extrusion. Interesting. Okay. And from what I'm seeing from these guys, it does look like they're like they are trying to make this a buy accessories plug and play guy. So I don't even know what size nozzle this is. It is super tiny though. That's 0.4. Curious. Alright. That's the bigger one. Let me get the thermistor back in here. And figure out how to tighten this sucker up so that we're not all loosey-goosey wobbling around. The laser on here is also loosey-goosey and wobbling around all over the place too. So, well, it's not as bad. It looks like it's got 2 screws on the inside you need to tighten up. I'm guessing there's some sort of... I've never played with a laser before on one of these things, so this ought to be relatively amusing. I don't know how they work. I'll have to look into it. We're going to leave that portion alone for now. That was just an interesting extra and came cheaper than the standard version of this machine. And it was not Amazon Prime, which was very odd to me. But yeah, you can see, although the one side of this isn't threaded, I think, yeah, you can get away with it. But this looks like oh, it is threaded. What do you know? Very similar to the heater block for the Chimera I have on an FL Sun i3. So you get 2 of these little, I don't know if you can see that there, 2 of these little heater blocks going through here, and then yeah, connected in. And since this thing is already set up for dual extrusion, even though one of them is connected to a laser, I'm wondering if it's in the firmware to be able to just switch those out. Like I said, they do sell the extra heads that you can just switch out super easy here. Okay. This is interesting. Interesting. I kind of want to just take Mr. Lazar here off. It's kind of getting in the way of progress, but I think you have to have the hot end off if you want to connect the laser beam. So we'll deal with the laser at a different date. Today we are just wanting to get the printer printing. Come here, you. So we're gonna take this bad boy off here. This thing's got a lot more connection points than it. Okay, so I have successfully removed the laser beam, and now I think I can figure out exactly how to connect this bad boy up here. Now that I've taken it apart. But yeah, I would definitely suggest if you pick one of these up, you're going to have to disassemble the hot end and put it back together again to make sure that it's all set up right. Okay. Now, just screw this bad boy in here and I am just super stoked. This is an all metal hot end. Yeah, I enjoy that immensely. So far, I'm incredibly impressed with this. It is definitely making my day way more so than the CR10 did, for sure. No offense to anybody who appreciates the CR10s out there, but okay. Kind of like it. Sit like that. Alright. And it does look like the cooling fan avoids the... Interesting. Okay, so this guy goes in there. Right. Okay, I figured that part out. But oh, well, that's kind of annoying, isn't it? All right. It looks like you gotta unthread the hot end. That might have explained why it was loose, not in there, to get the screws that hold the heat block in place. Okay, that's a little backwards, but you know, whatever. So let's put this guy right here. Okay, yeah, this is definitely a little bit backwards here. How do they want you to get that guy in there? Ooh. Okay, yeah, some assembly required. All right. So I have to take off the part cooling fan to be able to get to the screws heads to hold in the heater block. And I'm still not entirely sure how. I want this to slide in like that. I mean, seems a bit. No, I had it right. So, oh, okay. So this guy is gonna slide in here. Right. Gotcha. Okay, so this is similar to how a what do I call those things? Maker Select V2 or a Wanhao Duplicator i3 or Cocoon Create, whichever you want, whichever one you want. So let's see if I can slide this in here. I'll show you. Oh, lost one. Lost a foot. Lost a foot. Lost a couple feet here. All right, there we go. Looks like so your well, there goes heat block. Slides right in here, and yes, you have to remove the extruder if you want to put the laser back on. But since we're not going to mess with the laser right now, I've just taken that off. So I really have no idea what I'm doing with those, and I don't want to mess with it. So I'm going to put this together and get the hot end on here and tightened up. You can see it's super loose because they had to take all this apart to put the laser on here. Makes sense why the extruder was free floating in the box. Anyways, I'll be right back. Alrighty, so I got the extruder and heat end connected back up together. Now something really interesting that I'm seeing on here is there are only 4 screws holding this onto the plate that connects. So there's an additional plate that holds the direct drive extruder and the laser guy here. You pop this out and you get the exact bolt configuration for the same hot end that you would get from the CR10, the Mark 8, I guess. I don't know what Mark 10, can't remember. But yeah, this guy is completely set up for that, if that's what you want. That is pretty awesome. That is really, really awesome. I like that. So if you're not interested in a direct drive, I'm actually really interested in seeing how this direct drive works on a platform like this. It should be relatively interesting because I have a lot less issues with my direct drives and a lot better retraction for the direct drives than I do on my Bowden machines. Not detracting the Bowden machines, they're awesome, but this is a big CR10 sized machine that is using a direct drive, which I like a lot. Okay, so that's on there. But yeah, if you wanted to throw your standard CR10 nozzle on there, you could do that quite easily just by removing this plate. It's held on by 4 screws to the backplate. That is pretty awesome. Now, let's see. This guy goes in here, and yeah, that X is loosey-goosey. Awesome. Oh, yeah, that's right. She does. All right. So, here was the part that I was unsure of. So, and it does look like I have to cut. Okay, actually no, I can do it this way. So you do have to have, this is kind of a beast. Where'd that little guy go? There it is. You do have to have, oh, that's not the right way. Where did the little one go? Yeah, lost my train of thought. Anyways, you have to have the heater block taken off to be able to, or let's move this bit, right? And since this has been tested, it's already got a lot of plastic in there. So where is the little guy? There is a tiny, oh there it is, it's hiding behind me. I think it's just going to be easier to unscrew the heat block for this initial one here. So I don't plan on taking this off too often. Probably will try the laser at some point, but I doubt it. This was not something I wanted to do. Although I guess you can take the whole tool head off and replace that. So let's pop this bad boy in here. Where are my screws? All right. There it is. And I really like how all of the fans on this have quick disconnect connectors. So easy to replace. Super easy to replace. So I don't know about you folks, but I've noticed that fans are the #1 piece that fail on me. For all of my machines, they last maybe 12 days print time, and then they die. And that is the end of that. Okay, come on, get in there. These might be too short. Curious. I don't think these are the ones that are supposed to go with this. Well, that one fit just fine. Yeah, a little bit longer screws. So again, they provide all of this stuff for you for all the different tool heads. That is awesome. I am really liking what I'm seeing so far. The external MOSFET for the heat bed not being there is a little bit of a drag, but I mean that's a $10 part, no biggie. Probably should have installed one while I was fiddling around in there, but oh well. Okay, so now let's screw our heater block back in. And I unfortunately can't see, so I had all this spaced out perfectly, and I don't anymore. But I'm guessing when I feel resistance, because this goes all the way up to the bottom of the extruder bit. Again, not bad assembly-wise, considering. Okay, should be hitting the end of that. Maybe there. All right. Tighten this grub screw back up so that doesn't move around any. Get in here, torque that a bit. Alright. Sorry if you can't see all the stuff I'm doing here. This isn't the best of camera angles, and all my other work tables are taken, so I'm doing this on the living room floor. I've got an FL Sun i3C Plus build going on that has been ongoing The instructions are a little bit less than desired, unfortunately, but you know, you work with what you got. So that is still in progress, and I got this guy because I saw it on Amazon completely by accident. Well, that tighten that up real quick, didn't it? Alright, okay. So let's put our cooling fan. And as for 3D printed parts, that is 3D printed, I guess. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Oh, those are ugly prints, but they're functional. That works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 3D printed parts on this thing. And that's it. Everything else is metal. Everything else is steel. I don't even see any acrylic on this, although the side panels might be acrylic, actually. Nope, those are steel too. So, never mind. And there's only one as opposed to the CR10s too. Curious. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It's like, borked their 3D printed cooling fan. Man, somebody needs to work on their settings. I don't know if you can see that, but man, that looks horrible. Yeah, airflow is coming through it, but it does look like I'm going to need a bit of super glue because they did not have nearly enough top layers on this. I can show you right there. You can see gaps in there, and the screw popped. Screw holder out. So I'm going to go super glue that up real quick. All right, quick and painless. What took for you seconds only took me a couple more seconds. All right. Where's my other screw? Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, so that is the cheapest 3D printed part I found on here. The other parts look to be a wee bit better, although the top layers for the Z rod holders are they're pretty rough too. You guys need to calibrate your machines. Seriously. But yeah, this part cooling fan, this is the roughest piece I've seen on here. And all the rest of it looks okay. It's just you need a few more top layers, folks. Just a few more top layers. Don't stint. It's just plastic. Okay. A bit flimsy, but you know, whatever. Alright, so all that's there. Everything's tightened up. Everything's connected. Well, not connected yet, but oh, I really don't like that thermistor. It keeps coming undone. To fiddle with that one. Maybe reposition it, because yeah, that's not cool. I am going to connect up all the wiring, reset up, so we can see what our first print's going to look like. Alrighty, so we got it all set up. About to flip it on for the first time here. Now, something I did notice is that, well, I can't see what's on the screen here. There we go. This is a brand new SD card, so I have nothing to print, I don't think. We'll check it out and see, but how does that bad boy go in there? That barely fits. Okay, well, that's a bit of a beast. But we'll see. Here we go. It's alive! Oh, that flashed on so quick I didn't even get to see what we're dealing with here. Okay. Well, let's... Yep. Brand new SD card, nothing on it, so I'm going to have to go cut a file and do... Oh, I'm missing something. Something incredibly important if we wish to continue here. Alright. Okay, so, again, since their knockoff ultra base stuff didn't work, we're just going to flip that onto the glass side here. Alright. Ooh, and it makes a nice little vacuum, so that's flat. Awesome. Again, CR10, take notes. Thank you. Not to be a jerk or anything, but seriously, you guys. And it looks like they only gave me 3 clips, so I'm gonna get 2 in here. And I'm probably just gonna slice something with the CR10 profile that I've got and see what's up. But first and foremost, let's check that everything works here. Disable steppers. Think about it before we find out where that end stops at. Let's take the glass off. Okay. And that, yeah, I'm just printing on the box that it came in because I don't have any room set up for this guy yet. But let's see. The levels are in the other room, but it's a slick little setup, and it's 24 volt. Now, one thing I did notice is your wire management is going to be a bit of a pain. I had to do some rubber band jankiness here until I can figure out what to do with it, but that is definitely happening because the wires were just hanging around. But this will keep them from getting in the way of things at the moment. All right, let's see, where are we at? Okay, that is way above the bed, but it does look like way adjustable compared to the CR10 side stuff right here. Super adjustable. Just loosen 2 screws, lower this plate down. That might actually be 3D printed. I might have missed it. Nope. It sounds like metal. There we go. Okay. Let's disable. Well, let's actually let's check some hot ends here. Some temperature. Bed. Bump that sucker to 60. See how long that takes. I don't know where my phone went. Oh. Should have started a timer for that just to see how long that takes. Let's see. That is heating up relatively fast, comparatively. I think I missed like 10 seconds of that, maybe. And 40 degrees, and 30 seconds. Oh yeah, okay, good stuff. Probably going to need some sort of strain relief for the heat bed, and I can tinker something up on it. The placement for the screws for that are really weird, so I don't think maybe I can modify something from the CR10 boards, or more than likely I can probably find something along the lines of the ANET E10 or E12, one of those two. Might have something similar. Alright, we are at 50 degrees, 1 minute. Well, we'll say 1 minute and 10 seconds because I missed it by 10 seconds, but whatever. And it looks like the firmware is cut at 80 degrees on the heat bed, so I'm also going to have to flip it on and flip it off again here just to see how much the what firmware it is. I mean, it was on the screen and gone. I'm very curious what we've got going on in here. Okay, 60 degrees at 1:30. I'll say 1:40. So under 2 minutes to get to 60 degrees on the heat bed. Oh, I love 24 volt. That is awesome. Okay. Now, let's see. Yeah, that is definitely 60 degrees. Whew, warm. All right. Move access. Oh, looks like they've got baby steps in there. Nice. Okay, cool. Let's go 10. Up. wrong button. And prepare. Move axis. 10 millimeters on the Y. Whoa. Whoa. Those are some crazy acceleration settings there. Wow. Alright. That's cool. Alright. Let's move back. Let's disable steppers. Now let's check the... Actually turn the bed off now. That's really awesome how fast that heats up. Oh man, I'm stoked. Let's bump that to 170. That should be good. What is our max here? 260? So 260 on the hot end, and we'll just go to 200. Why not? 260 on the hot end and 80 on the bed is what it looks like. The firmware has it at one memory, restore file phase. Auto home. Okay. Pretty standard. Let's check. Okay, 64. That is awesome. I don't even know if my smaller... Well, no, my smaller machines heat up pretty good, but I don't know if they heat up in less than a minute and a half to temperature, but that is pretty cool so far. And it doesn't look like this is going to get close to heating, so just pop this on there and watch the temperature drop super fast. Okay, man. Yeah, the way this was packed definitely messed up their custom coating, well, their Anycubic coating on the front of this, but when I try to lift this build plate up off of the heat bed, it's stuck. There's like vacuum, so that is pretty epic and tells me that this is relatively flat. Hopefully we're not going to run into too many issues here. Okay, the hot end says it's at, yep, that is heating up. Alright, so we're going to cool down, actually. And let me actually turn the fan on. So I'm curious about that. Okay, so. Wow, you can't even hear it. And yeah, there's a lot of air coming out of there. Wow, that is super quiet. Wow, Kreatit, seriously. Take note. You can't even hear the fans on this thing. Now, I can't wait to hear it printing to see how loud it gets, because this is... I'm already super stoked. And the Y belt looks pretty good, tension-wise. I think the X is going to need some more, but we're going to throw in a quick little test print here anyway. As soon as this cools down to a decent enough temperature on the hot end, I'm going to turn it off and turn it back on, see if I can't get the firmware version on here. So I'm looking at the wires here. You'll notice that it's set up for a second extruder from the gate, which is awesome. So that means you can probably just plug their tool head in by removing this back plate. Now the laser guy here, it looks like it just plugs into one of these 12 volt bits, because it's only got a 2-piece connector. Yeah. So it looks like it plugs into one of the fans, and that's that. But yeah, we're not going to play with this right now. Okay, now we're cool enough to flip that off. And what's our firmware? version 0.1. Interesting. So it looks like it says custom firmware. Really? No way. This is definitely Marlin. Yeah, it doesn't even tell you. Wow, that was super fast. Okay. Anyway, let me pull this SD card. Now, something to be aware of is the SD card is one of these big guys, and it is really difficult to get in there. So I am probably going to pull a micro SD and one of the SD card readers to be able to use with this, so I can pop it in quickly, because I can guarantee you that's going to fail. So I'll get some sort of adapter for that at some point. Alright, so I got a quick calibration cube on there, 14 minutes, super rough. Clean off my fingerprints with a bit of alcohol here and apply a bit of the hairspray, because I don't know how this is going to go. You'll see, but make sure you give it every opportunity to stick here. So I'm just doing the middle here, a quick little print. We're going to heat the heat bed up, and we're going to leave the hot end cold, and we're going to level this sucker and see what happens. Just let our hairspray warm up, but again, at 2 minutes to heat up to 60 degrees, not bad. Alright. Let me go find a good piece of paper to do this with. They give you a card, but it's a little too much. They do give you a card to level up, to level this thing, but let's see here. Into temperature, heat bed. Let's go to 55 here. Oh, it's touchy, super touchy. Yeah, but I don't even know what you would flash the firmware with on this thing. I'm unfamiliar with the board, and it looks like they've got their own little weird thing going on here, so I'm not entirely sure if what they've got going on. Alright, so no card. Oops. Why is it not reading the card? That's kind of crazy, isn't it? It's not reading the SD card. Whoops. Okay, those are going to need fan shrouds. Awesome. So, I just have a micro SD card in a big one, because this thing is kind of a beast. Alright, card inserted. Excellent. And, okay. There's my calibration cube, but let's... I think I already auto-homed it earlier, but let's make sure. And that is warming up just fine. Okay, here we go. Oops. Let's disable steppers. Where are you at? Whoops. Okay, steppers disabled. Let's hop over here. Let's find out what our temperature's at. 50. Oof, yeah, I gotta remember. And I'm gonna actually level this right in the center, because that's where I'm working at, and that is a really, really far away from okay. So what size screws are these bad boys there? Okay. I am going to lower the Z end stop. And this box may be in the way for that. Just oh, okay. Right on. I don't remember where that was at, but let's... Ooh. Wrong spot. There we go. So, we're gonna actually put this at its... Oh, no, it can go lower. Wow, alright. Let's see. Yeah, that might be a little too much. Let's go right about there. Okay. Precarious positioning. Oh, whoops. Oh, that didn't work. I did it. Give me the wrench. Thank you. So it looks like this was just put on barely with a single T-nut there. So line goes up. Okay. And we are a decent clip away from that. That's a little too much. Let's put it right there. It's finished, thank you. Okay. So, there's that. Now let's see how far we are. Okay, well that might be a little too much. Alright, well nobody said this stuff was easy, right? Alright. I'm still... Alright, let's see here. So I'm lifting Z up by 6, and that looks to be. Let's find out if that's above or not, because I have the build plate tightened down all the way right now. So disable steppers, and actually you can probably go down a little bit more here. Okay, so I moved the Z up 3 from where it's at, and that looks perfect actually. Why waste time unless you absolutely have to? Okay, loosen this guy up. And raise it. Come on, mate. Don't fight it. There you go. Whoops. Well, at least we know where we're going, right? Cool. Slide that bad boy in there. Click. Go. Give me the wrench. Thank you. There we go. Okay. That one up. Alright. So, try this now. Cool. Alright. Oops. Yep, gotta disable steppers. Alright, there we go. Now, let us begin for the levels. Alright, so that's about right in the middle of there. Yeah, wow. These are really weird screws. They're so far underneath this thing. Sorry. Jesus. Now you're probably getting to see that I didn't comb my hair today. I got this actually yesterday morning. Early yesterday morning. And I couldn't wait to assemble it today. So that was close on there. Now I'm just getting this within a reasonable position here. About midway between the front and the back. So we're starting on a good little spot. You know, eventually when I find a home for this guy somewhere, I will put it. Okay, see these up a little bit now. I will end up putting it on a flat surface and making sure that everything is leveled out. Now, I want to level this towards the center because that's where we're going to be printing right now. Too much. These things are really difficult to get to. That's going to have to change. Okay, come here, buddy. This a little bit tighter than that. Right about there is good. Let's get the front end here. Ooh, that sounds a little too tight. Sure. Tight enough now. I will give them credit though, the knobs are better than certain competitors. I don't want to knock stuff too badly. Yeah, I've got the competitor too. But so far, let's go over what we've got here. One, we have an expandable board that you can pop dual extruders on. Relatively easy. And we've got a laser. Comes with this one. And and look at that, it's tight all the way through. Holy moly, that's amazing. Again, Kreatit, take note. So we got our bed relatively leveled now. And let's messed up a bit of my hairspray there. Get a little quick fix. Let that dry. Now we're going to heat up our hot end here. Let's see what they're. Ooh, no, we don't want ABS. Okay. So their PLA heats to 70 on the hotbed. Wow. And 180 on the hot end. That seems a little off. I'm actually going to turn the bed down to 50 and the nozzle up to 200. And that'll be good for me. Now, we do need to get some filament in here. And I am not going to bother with the roll they sent, because I have these tiny little guys I've gotten here from a 3D pen I bought. So. And at the moment, I'm actually just going to wrap this around up here because I don't have any space for the rest of this fun stuff at the moment. Alright. And just let that do its thing up here. We're only doing a 20mm by 20mm calibration cube anyway, so it's not going to require too much insanity going on here. And I can't wait to hear this thing print because it is so quiet now compared to the CR10. My God. All right. Let's feed some filament. Okay. Well. I don't like how I have to put my finger on the part cooling fan, which is already flimsy. We established that earlier. To get filament in here, although it does appear that there was some small thought design. Ooh, don't like how that doesn't want to go in there. Awesome. Okay. Because the angle for the fan duct. Okay, well, this is interesting. It doesn't want to go in. Well, it's a bit annoying. Oh, there it goes. Haha! No. Right? Yeah, no. Yeah, that's where I go. It went the other direction. Now that's something that might need to be addressed. It doesn't seem to want to match up with the hot end. Again, some of this being because of how you have to put this thing together, at least from what I saw anyway, because you can't get to the screws that mount the heater block into the mount here with the heatsink block to this without in there. And I can't see in it to tell you what is going on. That's relatively bothersome. See, I knew I should have tested this before I went down this road. What is going on here, buddy? Interesting. Okay. High. And let's turn the nozzle off for now. Let's turn the fan 100%. Wow. Spin. Can't even quite tell. Okay, that is not spinning. Nothing coming out of the fan there. Interesting. Ooh, drop that down to something reasonable. Alrighty, so my SD card ran out of memory, so I went and cut everything off, reheated it up. What you missed was I had to come in here and lower the heat block from the hot end throat by 2 turns to be able to get it because the extruder was sticking. I got my filament in there now. Actually, I should probably test that to make sure that that's working this time, because it wasn't earlier. It was getting stuck because it was too high in there. So let me move this in here. So I had to re-level the bed and all that fun stuff, but you guys didn't need to see that, so it's okay. We've all seen beds get leveled before. Now, let's move the extruder. Now we're extruding with fire. Alright, so I've got a quick little cube in there. Alright, so we're all warmed up and ready to go. So let's get busy. There we go. Now let's, while this gets started here, let's see if it does good. Oh, I had it set to 205. Huh, what do you know? I don't know if this needs to be 205. I don't even know what kind of PLA this is, to be honest with you. It just came with in a little roll, like you see it right there, with a 3D pin. So I'm using my stock Kira profile here. Uh-oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. Alright, so... Ooh. Interesting. Okay. So it looks like there's going to have to be some calibration done here. There. Alright. So, while this thing gets started, let's go over pros and cons. So, pro, let's get it right out of the gate here. Cheap. The stock kit goes for $250. I did notice that they aren't on Amazon though, and they have like an $80 shipping. So we'll skip that for the moment. This guy here, the KR10S instead of the KR10, forgive the pun, I'm sure they weren't copying anybody, is $299 on Amazon, fulfilled by Amazon, and for an extra $20 you can get it shipped the next day like I did. I ordered it Friday morning, it was here Saturday morning. I just got to it today, Sunday morning. And let's see, 24 volt. The heat bed heats up in less than 2 minutes, up to 60 degrees. I haven't tested higher than that. Comes with a Anycubic-esque base, which mine was damaged because of the way it was packed. No big deal. I like printing on flat glass anyway. The glass does look flat, which is awesome. Super bonus. Interchangeable tool heads. You can get dual extruders on here. You can get the laser on here. This one came with it, but we're not playing with it because I don't really know what I'm doing there, so we're going to leave that be. Let's see, what else here? Relatively simple, dual lead screws. Everything goes together. Now let's go about some cons here. I had to do a lot more fiddling with it than the CR10. I had to fix the hot end because of what it is, and then I had to fiddle some more. And yeah, that was about it. Your cable management, I had to use these weird little rubber band things here because it wasn't working correctly, but whatever. And I can't quite tell if this fan is working or not, to be honest. I don't know if this fan is working. Now, I also don't know what firmware is on here because it doesn't say. It flashes on the screen so fast you can't even see it. I don't know what the board is. It looks similar to an ANET board, and it's got heat bed connectors similar to an ANET. So there's some fixes that need to be done around that. That said, a little more fiddling than a CR10. You can't just put it together. This took me a couple hours to get going to where we are now, and I'm actually okay with that. I'm not sure if I would suggest this as a first printer, but it seems to be printing quite fine after I got the extruder straightened out. So, from here I'll let this go, and we can time lapse it after the fact. It's also quieter than the CR10, hands down. Well, I don't know if you can see it from here. I'll get some still pictures in there. This actually came out pretty good for a first print. I can tell you right now that the cooling fan is not working, so more than likely that's probably busted. And I don't have any 24-volt radial fans either, so that might be an issue. So I got a little bit of weird stuff going on here. Not a big deal. The top came out reasonably well, considering there's almost no infill in this. There's a bit of ghosting on the X, but the belt's pretty loose. It needs tightened. No big deal. And yeah, not bad for a quick little print. And I give you the Kreatit KR10S.